real strong drugs is the only possible explanation for that. For them to not even count food stamps. You know what else they don't count? Housing subsidies. Since we have a little time, I know we've got a vote coming up, and I'm certainly not going to delay that. I like my life too much. But I want to spend a few minutes talking about the Department of Commerce. I had this discussion the other day with our Secretary of Commerce, Mr. Howard Lutnick, for whom I have great respect. One of the agencies in the Department of Commerce is an agency called the Census Bureau. And I know that sounds like they count people, and they do, but they have a multitude of responsibilities. And one of their responsibilities is to define poverty level in America. Tell us who's poor. According to the Census Bureau, if you're single in America and you make $16,000 or less, you're poor. You're below the poverty level. If you're a family of two and you make $20,000 or less, you're at or below the poverty level. Family of three, $27,000. Family of four, $32,000. We take that seriously in America. Other countries will let you die in a ditch. We don't do that in America. It's one of the reasons we spend $1.4 trillion a year helping our neighbors who are poor. In our country, if you're hungry, we'll feed you. If you're homeless, we'll house you. If you're too poor to be sick, we'll pay for your doctor. That separates us from just about every other country in the world. I've been all over this world. I know the president has too. In other countries, they'll just let you die in the ditch. We don't do that in America. $1.4 trillion, that's how much we spend every year. That's taxpayer money. It didn't just fall from heaven. We thank heaven for it. It came out of people's pockets. And if you go talk to the Census Bureau, I pointed this out to Secretary Lutnick. If you go ask the Census Bureau, how many poor people do we have in America? They'll tell you 11%. 1 out of 10 Americans. It's been that way since 1974. We've been spending $1.4 trillion a year, and the poverty level hasn't budged. 11%, they'll tell you. And they'll shout it from the rooftops. And when they get a letter from another agency going, we need some help, some research, how many poor people we got in America today, they'll tell you 11%. 11%. They're lying. It's a bald-faced lie. You know why? Because they don't count. They refuse to count all of the public benefits that the American people give to the poor. According to the Census Bureau, the only thing that counts is if you get cash from the federal government. We call that welfare. Temporary assistance for needy families. We have another program, I think, that pays cash. It's called WIC. But according to the Census Bureau, that's the way you define if somebody's is in poverty. You look at how much money they make, and on top of that, we consider cash transfer payments from the federal government. And when you do that, 11% are poor. planet? In what solar system did these people parachute in from? You know what they don't count? I'll tell you what they don't count. They don't count earned income tax credits. If I make a low enough income, let's say I make $15,000 a year, I have to pay tax on that. I have to file a tax return. But when I do, I get an income tax credit, and it's refundable. That means the IRS sends me a check. So they don't count that, and the American people pay for that. But the Census Bureau says that doesn't count in determining poor. You know what else they don't count? They don't count food stamps. Huh? Real, strong drugs is the only possible explanation for that. For them to not even count food stamps. You know what else they don't count? Housing subsidies. Section 8 vouchers, getting to live in a place for free. You know what else they don't count? Utility bill subsidies. They don't count Medicaid. They don't count free school meals. You know why? Because if they counted it, you know how many Americans would be living in poverty? 1%. And that is a natural fact. I'm going to give you an example. Let's suppose you're a mom with 2 kids. And you're poor, you work, you make $11,000 a year. Okay? In determining whether that mom is poor, the Census Bureau counts her income and counts any payments she gets, as I said, from welfare. But that mom with 2 children making $11,000 a year is going to get back from the federal government $4,100 in refundable earned income tax credits. Remember what I just talked about? The Census Bureau said, oh, doesn't matter, not real money. That mom is going to get back $3,400 in a check in child tax credits. That mom is going to receive $9,200 in food stamps. That mom is going to receive $9,500, or at least she'll be eligible to receive in housing subsidies. That mom is going to receive $900 in utility bill subsidies, $16,000 in Medicaid for her and her 2 children, and $31 a year for free school lunches at school for her 2 kids. And let's suppose on top of that, she gets $6,600 a year in welfare payments. And remember, the Census Bureau says all this stuff doesn't count. The only thing that counts is the lady works and makes $11,000 a year, and she gets $6,600 in welfare payments. So her income is only $17,600, and she's below the poverty line. Wrong. You don't have to be Euclid to be able to figure out that if you add up the TANF money and the $11,000 that she earns and the refundable child tax credit and the refundable earned income tax credit and the food stamps and the housing subsidies and the utility bill subsidies and the Medicaid and the free school lunches that I just talked about, you know what her income is? $64,100. Tax-free. But yet the Census Bureau says she's below the poverty level. Now look, I'm not here to begrudge this lady, this hypothetical person. I'm going to say it again. American people are the most generous people in the world. We help our neighbors. But the American people put up this money. And they ought to get credit. And when the Census Bureau, which has been telling us since 1974, they've been lying to us. They have been lying to us. They learned to lie over there before they learned to talk. They need to redefine the poverty level in America and the definition of poverty. And it's the Census Bureau's job, and that's what I talked to the good Secretary Howard Lutnick about. And I talked to him in committee, and he said he'd work on it, and I thank him for that, and I'm going to chase him like he stole Christmas until he does it. I'm going to chase him like he stole Christmas and Thanksgiving. He can do it with a rule of regulation. I've introduced a bill. Again, the purpose of this is not take any money away from anybody. The purpose of this is to tell the American people the truth. That they're the most generous people in the world, and they should be proud of that. And this mom, poor mom of two, she's not just getting around $17,000 a year. She's getting almost $65,000 a year tax-free. But the American people get no credit. And you know why? Because there's so many people in the bureaucracy, they want us to think everybody's poor. So they can go back and back and back to the taxpayer. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary Lutnick, with all the respect I can muster, please fix this. Please fix it. And I'm going to keep bringing it up until you do. I'll pass a bill if I can, but it's going to be kind of tough. Short way home here is to have the secretary, I don't mean disrespect, have the secretary do his job.